What's up, guys? Nick Finzer here again, another Q&A for you. Today I'm coming to you from another tour. This time I'm in Orlando, Florida, getting ready to play a couple of gigs at Epcot at Disney World. It's part of one of their festivals that they're having there, and so I'll be here for a couple of days. I had some downtime this afternoon, so I thought I would jump back in and answer a few more YouTube questions. And probably the most asked question across all of the videos is about equipment. What equipment do you use? And so I'll just answer it right here, right now, and get that main thing out of the way. Dedicate this video just to talking about the equipment, trombone equipment. So for the last couple of years, I've been playing this King 3B Plus from Conselmer, from King. They just released a renewed edition of this trombone a couple of years ago, and I happened to meet some people at the time that mentioned that they were trying to redo some of the more older style of these horns, the 3B, the 2B, the 2B Plus, and 3B Plus, and they were going back to some of the older techniques, the older style of making the horns, so I decided to get on board and play it. It's a 525 bore instrument, and I just play a yellow brass bell, and the reason that I switched to this horn was because I was playing on a 508 Edwards, and it had that satin finish on it, which looked super cool, but after a while, I just got kind of a little bit too much to have to battle with and to play with, and I decided that I wanted to move on, and a good opportunity arose and found this instrument, which number one is a little larger. That was a 508. This is a 525, so it allows me a little bit more darker sound, to be able to kind of create a bigger sound if I want to. And that was kind of what I was hearing at the time, and that's still what I'm hearing. And for me, I might even be still hearing it even a little darker eventually if I can get there. I know one of my teachers, Steve Turre, he plays on even larger equipment than this, and sounds great. So I've thought about it, and some other teachers and mentors of mine have moved on to 547 bore equipment, but then they've kind of moved back to either 525 or 508. And so I think it's an ongoing process, but ultimately, the more trombones that I play, the more I realize that I kind of just sound more or less the same no matter what I'm playing on. So finding something that's comfortable and reliable and flexible is something that's been important to me. So that's why I kind of settled on this 3B Plus. So that's what I'm playing. And I've been playing this one since, I think it was about October 2014, I think is when I started playing these horns, and I played it for the first time on my record, The Chase. That one has this horn, and the last album that came out, Here and Now, has this on it. And I recorded an album recently that's kind of top secret, and I also played this instrument on that album. And also in a bunch of YouTube videos, and the duo album that's coming out with Chris Ziemba in November. Now, in terms of mouthpiece, this is a Marcinkowitz 6E-S. I don't know the Bach equivalent. I know before this I was playing a Schilke 51D, and when I moved from the 51D to this mouthpiece, it felt a little bit wider, but a different cup shape, obviously, and it's more lightweight. It's super lightweight, so it's a lot easier for me to play, and it was a kind of a good match for the equipment I was playing at the time, which was when I was in high school, actually. I've been playing this mouthpiece since I was in, I think, 11th grade, maybe 10th grade. I think maybe 11th grade, and so that would have been 2004. So however long that is, since 2004, about 13 years playing this mouthpiece. I've tried other things. I've tried to get it. I've gotten it copied. This is the second one that I've had. I had another one that just kind of got beat up. But the reason that it looks all crazy is because of just body chemistry. My mom does the same thing to silver plate. She plays the flute, and her flutes sometimes turn black, like this mouthpiece is kind of black. And so that's why. Nothing crazy. It's not plastic. Some people think it's something weird, but no, it's just discolored, and it discolors so fast that if I clean it, it is discolored again within a couple weeks. So it's just too much to try and maintain that, and ultimately I don't think it's that important. And it's a good conversation starter. In terms of other equipment that I like to use all the time, for a while I've been using this Best Brass practice mute, but as you can see, it's actually not a Best Brass practice mute. It's actually from a Dylan Music practice mute, and it's kind of beat to crap. I've had it on the road with me for the last 3 years, and now it's being held together with gaff tape and duct tape. And so luckily, the fine folks a couple weeks ago when I was in New Zealand met up with me and gave me this ShhMute. And so I want to thank them. Bremner is the name of the company. So thank you to those guys for hooking up this ShhMute. It's definitely cool mute. It's a bit more free blowing than this one, and a little easier to navigate around, play with a kind of fuller sound. Ultimately, I've only had it for a little bit and haven't used it for too long, so I don't know that much about it or the science behind it or what's different between them. I've just had a few sessions of practicing on this as opposed to that, but mostly I try to practice without any practice mute, so it always comes in handy when you're on the road or if you live in New York and have neighbors. Hotels don't really like trombone playing all that much. So that's kind of the equipment that I'm using. I also play and represent Facet mutes, the great cup mutes. I have a great cup mute from them, waiting for some other mutes. Really excited, hopefully, to get a bucket mute from them, because I love playing bucket mute, if you couldn't tell by some of the albums I've put out. And so looking forward to that. And then I just have a Pixie and plunger that I've had for a long time that I love to use as well. So that's kind of it for equipment for me. Hopefully that answers your questions. And so please feel free to leave any additional questions down below. But that kind of brings me to my main point, and I kind of touched on it a second ago, that I don't think that equipment is that important. I think it's important to find something that works, and I think it's important to find something that matches your sound concept. So if you love Tommy Dorsey, you should know what size equipment he was playing, which is small, and not try to play that like that on a 547 orchestral horn that somebody like Joe Alessi is going to play. Just the sound concepts, they don't match, and it's going to be way too difficult for you to try to achieve that with that sound concept. For me, I've tried a lot of different horns and gone through a lot of different times where I'm like, oh, maybe I want to switch horns, and so I go and try out a lot, and then I figure out, after recording myself or playing them, that ultimately I kind of sound the same no matter what. And so for me, comfort and reliability and other factors like flexibility of sound, or like being able to match different horns, because most people play this type of horn or in different sections, so trying to have something that's kind of middle of the road that allows me to do a lot of things, because that's what I'm called on to do, is a lot of different things. So it's ultimately led me to land on this instrument. And but yeah, I think you should try a lot of things, and you should find something that's flexible. You should find something that's easy to play, and that allows you to do the things you do. I'm not a big switcher of instruments. I don't like to, switch back and forth between all these different horns. I kind of stopped doing that when I was in college. I had a Con 88H that I used to love to play, that I still have, and I would switch back and forth to, cover different music. And then I was just having some kind of chop issues, and I just kind of decided to go one way. And thankfully, my teacher there was very accommodating of that, and he kind of respected, my thoughts and opinions about that, so we were able to move ahead. But I know there's a lot of different philosophies about that. For me, it's find something that works and stick with it, because the consistency is the most important thing. Like I said, I've been playing this Mouthpiece since I was in 11th grade. If it's not broke, don't fix it. That's kind of my philosophy. Just kind of keep it simple, play and practice a lot, and everything will work itself out. So I hope that answers your question. Please don't spend too much time thinking about equipment. Get back to the horn and make some music. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and we'll see you back here real soon.